Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Arsenal are back in the top four. That is what is very important about this live stream. Arsenal back in the top four, beating West Ham 2-1 away from home. Very important. We're gonna look at we're gonna be diving into the game. We're gonna be diving deeper into the game. I need your match reactions. Look, I literally want to do this live always. I want to first have that video where I can put everything off my chest and bring out the basic points that I thought I observed before we get into the deeper analysis. And also on the live stream, I want to get your thoughts about the game. What exactly did you make of that performance? Was it a very good one? Was it a very poor one? Or do you think it was one where Arsenal just needed to do what they did and to get the points, right? So personally, I felt like, because if you look at that game, Rob Holding was our best player. Actually, statistically, Rob Holding, outperformed any other player on the pitch for Arsenal in that game. He was absolutely ridiculous. So we're gonna look at Rob Holding. We're gonna be looking at the total and general performance, the statistics of the game, and your match reactions, your thoughts about the game in the comment section. Of course, you can keep voting for your man of the match live on this show. I will be able to pick up your comments, to pick up your thoughts in the comment box. Who was your man of the match? Honestly, I've gone with Rob Holding. He was so good. He's been very, very, very good. I think Mikel doesn't regret that. Ben White suffered from hamstring. I mean, you never know. Ben White might have not put in this performance that Rob Holding really put in today. And I'm gonna say, big up, Rob. Big up, Rob. He's one player. He's one of those players that have really had a hard time at Arsenal since the Arsene Wenger time. He got his chance to be one of the best. To be one of the key centre backs at Arsenal. He didn't take it, but then Mikel decided he won't sell him to Newcastle in the summer, just like all of us thought. He kept him, and I think he's rewarded. He's rewarded Rob Holding with a chance, and Rob Holding has actually taken the chance. So let's try to dive into the game and try to see what exactly happened throughout those 90 minutes. Right. This is how both teams started. Lucas Fabianski was in goal for West Ham. Kofo, Zuma, Cresswell, and Ryan Fredericks in a back four. Declan Rice played with Mark Noble in a midfield pivot, and you can see that green for both of them. They really performed very, very well. They actually outperformed our midfield. Pablo Fornes, Manuel Lanzini, and Said Benrahma, were the three behind Jared Bowen, who I thought had a very, very good first half, but then very quiet in the second half. Aaron Ramsdale starting in goal. Now, I do not know why Ramsdale is underrated in this game, because I thought his stop against, I think it was Declan Rice's header in the first half, that was top class. That was absolutely top class. But we started with Aaron Ramsdale, Takehiro Tomiyasu, Rob Holding, man of the match, Gabriel Magalhães, Nuno Tavares, as well in a back four. I think this is one of the games where Nuno has played basically well. He didn't give away the ball so many times, and look, he didn't come forward a lot. And I don't think he really was part of the game, like the way he would have wanted to affect it. But again, he was a little bit, better. Xhaka, Elneny, and Martin Odegaard in the midfield, they were absolutely outperformed today. Saka, Nketiah, and Gabriel Martinelli on the front line. And that is how both teams started. I think, look, this was a game where both West Ham and Arsenal shared a lot of things. I think it's a game where we shared a lot of things. Let me try to show you the momentum bar, right? If you look at this momentum bar here, it shows that West Ham were above Arsenal, in terms of getting key moments in the game, and I think they absolutely played better than us. But then it is, if you look at Arsenal down in the blue, it shows that we didn't have high moments. We didn't have very high key moments. But what we had was when we had spells, they were constant and they were consistent. Especially if look, this is Arsenal. We started off very well, but then our dominance was killed off very early in the first half. And throughout the first half, I'm going to say West Ham were absolutely unplayable. They were very, very good. We look at the statistics; they were so good. And in the second half, when Arsenal came in and got the second goal, and we got the second goal, I think it was around. It was very, very early. We tried to balance the game. So you can see here, you can see that in the second half, you have those high periods where Arsenal have the ball, where Arsenal trying to create something happen, especially through Nketiah. But then you also have West Ham trying to create something. So it was a game of two teams that were not so good. Arsenal not very good, and West Ham not very good as well. Because if you look at their best performer for me, it was Declan Rice. And literally, he was manning the midfield. He was breaking us the midfield. He was breaking through the lines. He was, causing all sorts of trouble in the midfield. But in the final third, that is where they didn't affect at all. Right. Let's have a look at the statistics of this game. They'll tell us much more, right? In the first half, West Ham had 51% ball possession and Arsenal 49. But if you look at the total number of shots they had, 6 against 4. They had 3 shots on target. We had 2, right? And that brings up my point that in the first half, they were the better team. I think Ramsdale deserves some credit throughout that first half, and Tahiro Tomiyasu, because they stood their ground. And that is when we saw Rob Holding really at his best. Those blocks, those shots that he actually made, made it possible for Arsenal to go out to outrun that spell that West Ham had. And I think that is what we needed to do, and what we needed at the moment. But again, why I say it was really very, very poor from both of them. Look at this. West Ham was so good in the first half, right? And they created a good goal. But look at big chances. 0. They had 0 big chances, and Arsenal had 0 big chances. But remember, in the first half, both of us scored. West Ham scored a goal, and Arsenal scored as well. Counterattacks, 0 against 0. Counterattack shots, 0 against 0, right? Shots inside the box, we had 2. They had 5. That is when they become a little bit better than us, and then they forced 2 shots, 2 goalkeeper shots, 2 goalkeeper saves, and we only saved 1. But the overall statistics in the first half, despite the fact that we were the underdogs in that half, actually suggest that Arsenal were not far away from West Ham. Look at the second half here. If we look, this is the second half. If we look at the second half, right, Arsenal had a total of 9 shots and West Ham had 2 shots. But then look at the ball possession. West Ham had 63, Arsenal had 37. And I think out of these 9 shots, I think 5 came from Nketiah. Yeah, I think 5 came from Nketiah. And these were shots where El Neni and Martin Odegaard were trying to free and find Nketiah, and Eddie could have a run at that West Ham defense, which I think was part of the strategy right from the start. Because look, what I saw Mikel Arteta do is he decided to play Martinelli, Xhaka, and Nketiah, and literally the midfield today was not any active. Our midfielders were not really any active. El Neni was playing as part of the defense to form a back 5. Xhaka was literally part of that middle block, just to try to make sure that West Ham do not exploit us. So there was not even any facilitation to our attacking front. There were no facilitations. It was only in the second half when we tried to say Nketiah probably trying to get some balls, some long balls, played into space. Him trying to run at them, trying to have a run at Katzuma. That is what we saw. But in the second half, it was very dramatic. West Ham did have a shot on target. Arsenal had 5, yet Arsenal had 37% only of ball possession. and we had 4 shots off target. We never had any block shots. We had 2 corners, they had none, and so on and so forth. We had 1 big chance in the second half. Which chance was that? Big chance in the second half. Which was that? Maybe was it Saka? But I don't think that Saka, that Saka shot was a big chance. Maybe Nketiah's. But honestly, lads, to be sincere, before we run into every player and how they performed, this was a game where Arsenal literally went, we are going to go for game management. We are not going to play so well, but we will walk away with the points, right? And why I thought Rob Holding was a very, very key player in this game, and we'll talk about Nketiah in a minute. Rob Holding literally played according to the plan of the manager. He literally played according to the plan. It's not the goal. It's not only the goal, but we set out to play a low block. We set out to be defensive. We never at any point in time as Arsenal decided that we're going to attack Westham, fully. We never decided to do that, and we didn't do that. We sat back, in a low block, and that was it. Right. So if I show you the player statistics in this game, you can see here, right here, Rob Holding is Arsenal's best player overall. Goals 1, 0 assists, recorded 2 tackles in the game. He had 88% passing accuracy, right? 88% passing accuracy. He had 8 duels, and he won 8 of them. That is 100%. He won 100% of all his duels. 6 of them were in the air, and 2 of them on the ground. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is one of the performances where Eddie's gonna go. Rob Holding. Why do I keep on saying Eddie? I think Rob Holding is going to be absolutely happy with himself, because you don't see so many of those. You literally do not see so many of them. Those, especially in a game where I thought Arsenal did not command a bigger percentage of the ball. And when I was listening to the commentary, the commentator, in that game, said something very interesting and very true. That at times Arsenal are happy while not in possession. At times Arsenal are just happy to let you play. At times Arsenal are just happy to let you have the ball, and they're happy to get you on the break. They're happy to get you on the counter attack, and that was the strategy in this game. So Rob Holding in this game, lads, was by far our best player by far. Played 90 minutes. I think that's the first time he scored in the Premier League in a while. Has he scored for us a goal in the Premier League? I think I don't remember, but I remember that I've seen a Rob Holding goal, right? But at least in a while. So Rob Holding, congratulations for me, man of the match. Let me know if you agree that he was our man of the match in this game. Nketiah here comes second in our best performers today. 71% passing accuracy, no goals, no assists. 71% passing accuracy, and then he had 9 duels in this game and won 7 of them. That is also really, really good. Ridiculous. He had 5 ground duels, won all of them, and he had 4 aerial duels and won 2 of them. I think what Eddie gave us in this game, actually, if you look at our lines of our pressing lines when we were not in possession, Eddie Nketiah and Martin Odegaard were the only 2 players that I saw trying to press high up the pitch. Saka, Martinelli, and Granit Xhaka then fell into the second line of defense, which was okay, honestly, because you never wanted Westham to cut through you. But the work rate of Eddie Nketiah, lads, is unbelievable. The work rate of that lad is just unbelievable. And look, to some extent, I want to agree with Mikel, and to some extent, you want to agree with Mikel that maybe he needs some time. maybe because Mikel has come out on a couple of occasions and said he wants to play Nketiah. He trusts him. He trusts him and everything like that. But the work rate he provides for Arsenal, and we've seen this in all the games that he's played, his work rate is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, right? Right? Because it's a game where we played under pressure. It's a game where he thought Arsenal were never going to be good enough, but then we were good. We played better. But Nketiah, credit to him, lad. Credit to him. Started out in the Chelsea game, showed us the same passion, the same fighting spirit, and any team that is gonna try to sign him, they will get a good forward. They will get a good number 9. And for me, he should go to Brighton. That is the thing, because with Brighton, you have the likes of Bissouma, Mwepu trying to create for you. Then they have the likes of the creativity from the likes of Leandro Trossard. I mean, he would just be a very good player if Welbeck is doing well there. And if you look at the similarities between Welbeck and Nketiah, they're so similar as players. They just bring on that work rate. They just help you create more and more pressure on the opponent. So I think he did very well. Katsuma, yes, he's a big defender, way bigger than him, but he gave him some, trouble. And that is what you want to see, from your number 9. That is what you want to see from your forwards. You want them to be pressurizing. You want them to be, knocking on the door all the time. Our third best performer in the game was Gabriel Magalhães. I don't think there's a question about that. Look, on the goal that Jarrod Bowen shot, I think Gabriel is a little bit. I think that is a little bit not enough, right? He needs to do better in that situation. Because look, I think both of them and Ramsdale do not do enough on that goal. Because Jarrod Bowen gets that ball in the penalty area, and you think Gabriel should be getting closer. You should be closing in, because Bowen gets the ball and he has all the time in your box, in your penalty area, to stop it, calm it down, and take a shot. That is ridiculous. That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And then what he does is folds his hands behind his back and tries to provide a kind of effective block. Great work by Jarrod Bowen. Tries to cut that ball around him. He carves the ball around him, and then it just flicks on his body. It's kind of a deflection, but it's not enough for Gabriel Magalhães to claim the goal as an own goal. So it still goes to Jarrod Bowen. But that deflection literally changes the trajectory of the ball, and Ramsdale is beaten. So I thought he should have done better in terms of the moment Jarrod Bowen gets the ball in the penalty area, don't touch him, don't make contact with him, but close him down. Don't allow him to look at the far post. Don't allow him to do that. And we know Gabriel is very, very good at doing that. Probably his performances have fallen off a cliff a little bit, but I was convinced. I think the goal, right? The goal. I think we paid them, because the way we conceded the first goal, the way we considered the equalizer is the way they considered the second goal. Honestly, lads, that was really awful defending from Westham. How do you defend like that? How can you defend like that? That is one of the worst pieces of defending I've seen in my life. You can't do that. Someone tell David Moyes and Westham that they can't do that. You cannot defend like that, right? Of course, great ball from Martinelli and a very great run from Gabriel Magalhães. Literally, he's alone. It's a great run. He keeps himself onside, milliseconds onside. He's alone, and the power behind that ball, it's absolutely magnificent. So if you look at his statistics today, he had a goal, he had 2 tackles in the game, he had a 91% passing accuracy. 91% passing accuracy. Actually, if we look into the game, the players that had a better passing accuracy than him, in that. You had Mark Noble, who had a 96%. You had Mohamed Elneny with a 91 as well percent. And then you had Said Ben Rama, who had a 96%. And then Mikel Antonio, who came on for a few minutes, had 100%. I think, look, Gabriel Magalhães is going to develop into a great centre back, but it's going to take some time. And I know many people are going to call him out because of the goal and the recent performances, but it's going to take some time. We'll see more of these mistakes from him until we won't see many more anymore. I'm going to use the example of Loro Koscielny. Loro Koscielny was one of the ridiculous centre backs when he had just come in at Arsenal. He could he could create own goals all the time. He would be very, very sloppy. But by the time he left Arsenal, he was one of the very, very solid centre backs. I think Gabriel will become that man. But anyway, overall, nice performance. 91% passing accuracy. He had 4 duels and won 3 of them. He won all his all his ground duels, and then he also won he won 1 of his 2 aerial duels. I don't think he was sloppy. I don't think he was very, very sloppy. I think it just needs to boost his performances a little bit better. What I didn't expect though was Saka to be to be one of our best performers. So the other in number 4 was Gabriel Martinelli, who I thought struggled in the game. I don't know if I'm the only person who thought this, but I thought Gabriel Martinelli overall struggled in the game. Throughout the game, he struggled because look, the initial plan from Mikel was to get the ball onto the left-hand side of the pitch. And this is the reason. Let me try to show you. Let me take you back a little bit here onto the lineups, right? So Gabi Martinelli was supposed to attack. Do you see that? Yeah. So he was supposed to attack Vladimir Kofo and Mark Noble. Obviously, Pablo Forners. It was a very good raid from Moyes to play Pablo Forners here. But the intent, and if you look at how we started the game, Elneny, Nketiah, Odegaard, all of them, and Xhaka here. All of them, what were they trying to do? They were trying to play these diagonal balls into Gabi Martinelli, and they never reached. The reason they've never reached was Mark Noble and Pablo Forners were literally positioned very, very well, and they protected Vladimir Kofo, right? So look, this was my anticipation, and I think we thought the same way as Mikel, that if you want to beat Westham, then do one thing. Make sure that you have Martinelli running at Vladimir Kofo, to make these runs in behind into this space. And you can see that both of them here really struggled. You can look at their rating here. They really, really struggled. Katsuma struggled against Nketiah, who has a 7.7. And then Vladimir Kofo, on a few occasions, struggled against Gabriel Martinelli, who had a 7.5. But on the other side, you can see that Aaron Cresswell, Declan Rice, and sorry for that, right? And this other side of the defense with Ryan Fredericks, for them they performed better, right? Because you have Declan Rice, who has a very good work rate. You also have Ryan Fredericks, who had a very, very good work rate, and I thought he came forward very well. The only disadvantage they had here is that him and Said Benrahma were easily stopped by Takehiro Tomiyasu, who actually suffered an injury in this game, right? So look, but I thought Martinelli really struggled to find himself something into this game after the initial plan failing to utilize this space behind Vladimir Kofo and to take on Katsuma directly. I thought then he would have tried to become as part of the support striker with Nketiah, but then all the time Nketiah was getting forward, we saw that he was going forward alone. he didn't have the support of Gabriel Martinelli, and I thought that is where he would have been more helpful, because when the balls were played into Nketiah was running down this side, or at least up this side in the second half. But they didn't have any support, and you could see that whenever he reached this area of the box here or here, he tried to take a shot, and it was so comfortable for Lucas Fabianski. So I thought Martinelli should have should have made these runs into Nketiah into space for Nketiah to pass into. But look, not the worst performance for me. Again, not the worst performance, but it didn't come out like the manager wanted it. Had an 82% passing accuracy, 15 dwells, one, and of course 7 there completed, 12 ground dwells and 7. I think that's the reason as to why he's one of our best performers. Although he didn't get too much engaged into pressing, because if you look at his pressing statistics here, they're not that good. But look, in terms of defending the ball, he did very, very well. He did very well, and I think it was needed. Our forwards, our wingers had really to come back, because we know the quality of Jarrod Bowen and Benrahma. They had to track back always to stop Benrahma and also to stop Jarrod Bowen, which I think, in the end, we tried to do very well. Xhaka, I was not really very convinced. Yes, he didn't have a bad game, but honestly, he struggled. He really, really, really struggled a lot in the game. Another player that I thought really struggled, lads. Let's agree to this. Another player that I thought struggled was Granit Xhaka. Elneny, look, I don't think Elneny struggled, because Elneny literally fell back into Elneny fell back into into the back four to form a back five. Actually, it became Elneny in the middle of Gabriel Magalhães and Robolding. Then Takehiro Tomiyasu and Tavares just had that kind of width onto them, and then when we were attacked, it was predominantly a back five. But I thought Xhaka really struggled. He struggled to progress the ball, because that was his role. That is his role these days. Partey or Elneny win the ball back, and they fetch it from the deeper areas, and then they give it to Xhaka. Xhaka's role literally is to facilitate the progression. I think he struggled a little bit. He was so sloppy. Let's look at how many times he gave away the ball. I think that will show us exactly the point I'm talking about. I'm not really getting. I'm not really saying it was the worst player on the pitch. Get me right, but this is it. Okay, where is that? How many times did he give away the ball? Because that is what I noticed most in the game. I should be able to see that. Right, here it is. He lost possession 16 times, right? He lost possession 16 times. And for a player who is playing, a little bit behind Martin Odegaard and in front of, Elneny, I thought Xhaka, because if you look at where Xhaka plays, let's look at his heat map here. If you look at his heat map, he's one of the players that have a lot of options to pass into. He can play into Odegaard. He can play into Elneny just around him. He can look for Xhaka. He can switch the ball on the other side to look for the likes of Martinelli, and he has so many passing options. So to lose the ball 16 times, I thought he struggled a little bit. And the reason that's why he struggled is because of Declan Rice. Rice is so good. That boy is really, really unplayable. He's one player that I would take to Arsenal, to the Arsenal 11 all day long. But overall, lads, not a very poor performance, not a bad one, and because we picked up the points. So what that means to the table, it means that Arsenal are now back in fourth. Great performance. We are back in fourth. That is one thing that always matters at the end. back and forth. I'll try to show you the table around here so that you see for yourselves. So there we are. We are back and forth. 34 points, 34 games played already. So we have 4 games to go. So Arsenal just hanging there. I think this is one of those times where you want to tell your team just hang in there. I want to try to show you the points and everything on the table. All right, so I'll get myself out of the way. So here you are, Arsenal, 63 points, 3 points behind Chelsea. So literally, we could if we win every game, we are left with, obviously Chelsea have a very, very good goal difference. I think, yeah, they have a better goal difference. So Arsenal will need more goals to go past Chelsea. But so 63 points, 61 for Spurs, 2 points ahead of Spurs. And why this game is so important, it was very important. Arsenal now have the opportunity to beat Leeds in the upcoming fixture. Leeds, here they are, just slightly above relegation. Obviously, Everton have a game in hand. And of course, if we beat Leeds and Everton can pick up 3 points in their next game, you never know. Again, I think, they could survive relegation. But the key here, lads, is we are playing Leeds next and Tottenham are taking on Liverpool next. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? And that's why I think this game had lots and lots of pressure for Arsenal as a team. It had lots and lots of pressure, right? But in the end, Arsenal came out on top. That is the only thing I always want. That is the only thing I always want. I want my team to come out on top. Nothing more, nothing less. Some of your reactions in the chat. I would love to have more of that because I didn't have a chance to do the prediction live. We'll come back. Thank you so much, Arno. Hope you're doing well, you lads. Love you guys. Just love you lads. I'm much proud to live with you. May know that the possibility of Arsenal to sign Jesus. The possibility of Arsenal to sign Jesus. If I'm going to give you a percentage, and I will say, as we stand, 65%. How are you doing, Ken? Hope you're doing well. Arthur as well, and Douglas. Hope you lads are doing well. Congratulations to all the Gunners, but we need to maintain the fourth position. It's going to come from winning games constantly. It's going to come from winning games constantly. It doesn't come from anything else. It doesn't come from anything else. It comes from winning games constantly. Can we, the next games that we have are difficult, so we need as a must to beat Leeds, right? And then we have to pray so hard that somehow Spurs slip up against Liverpool, right? Because if they lose, we'll be 5 points clear. And you know what that means? That means that going into the North London derby, we will want just 1 point, right? Because if you get a point again, if you get a draw, if you win against Leeds, and then Spurs do not beat Liverpool, or say they lose to Liverpool, which I think they will lose too, will be 5 points clear, right? And then we'll be left with 2 games to play. So literally that means that we only have to pick up 1 more point. 1 more point, right? Actually, 2 more points. 2 more points out of the last 2 games, which would be Everton and Newcastle. Not easy games, not easy games, but I think we can beat Newcastle. They play a very, very open game, and they have been inspired by their new manager, that is Eddie Howe. But I think Arsenal can just do it. Look, it's becoming more and more. It's now becoming more and more realizable. It's becoming more and more realizable. If you look at the achievements that we have, I think we have qualified. I've seen it somewhere that we have qualified for the Europa League after this win. I don't know. We are 11 points. Have we qualified for the Europa League? Listen, United have 3 games to play. Those are 9 points. How many points are we clear of Manchester United? All right, that is 8 points. We are 8 points clear of Manchester United. I don't think we've qualified for Europa yet. But if we win the next game against Leeds, we shall have qualified for the Europa League, right? Done and dusted. So that means, guys, congratulations. We are back in Europe. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm saying this. Why didn't I say this a little bit earlier? We are back in Europe, right? We are back in Europe. Congratulations to all the Ghanaians out there. We are back in Europe. And so that's gonna be, of course, that is gonna affect how and the quality of players that we are gonna sign in. That's gonna it's gonna affect. But literally, we are back in Europe. I don't think United will beat Brentford tomorrow, by the way. So literally, we are back in Europe. Okay. So congratulations to all the Ghanaians around the world. Okay, here we are now. Big up my man Cossy. Big up Ken. Hope you're doing well. We are so happy today, but 3 points we were so sloppy today, but 3. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. Hit the like button for me. It massively helps out. Look, that's it, people. That's it. At times, you're not going to win every game like you want it, right? At times, at times you have to get. I mean, you might propose to your wife in the most ugly way, as long as they accept it. That's it. As long as they accept it, you don't. Look. You don't have to have a boat cruise and everything, planes flying everywhere to propose. You might do it as well in the kitchen, as long as it's a yes. And today it was a yes. We proposed to Westham, and they said yes. And obviously, look, we've had a very, very good record against Westham. Even at the Upton Park, we always win that game. We always beat them. We've always beaten them so badly, so badly. Congratulations to the lads, really. Okay. Big up, man. We are the Gunners forever. God bless Arsenal, the Arsenal family. Hit the like button for me. Thank you so much, Arno. Massively helps out the channel. We need Darwin Núñez at Arsenal. He is the big player that is needed at the upfront in our line next season. Look, I think it's gonna take some more wins. It's going to take some more wins. Look, I hope I had more time so that we did another probably transfer reaction video today, but then we'll try to do it tomorrow. It's going to take a couple of more wins. You get Champions League football, you have Darwin Núñez. That's it. Yeah, you have Darwin Núñez. And we just need to roll the ball off the cliff. And I know we will do it. I definitely believe in the team. Arsenal, if we qualify, I will like to see Darwin Núñez at the Emirates. I have gone through this height in 2022. He is a big deal. I think I hope you're meaning deal there. Okay, thank you so much, Kareem. For the comment. And then Derek says, I don't care about possession, but the results and only. And Elneny has done his job, but Xhaka should change. Now, look, let me say this, people, right? Let me say this. Players are never going to have good games throughout the season. Xhaka this season has been okay. Honestly, let's give him the credit. He's been okay. And he was good against Chelsea, and he was good against Manchester United. I think what he failed to do today, and I might not as well blame him so much, right? Because if you look at the numbers we were committing forward today, I mean, I got confused on what we were trying to do. Our first line of press had 2 players, Nketiah and Odegaard, and then the second line, with which we were trying to press had 3 players. Literally what that did was, it was not effective. It was literally not effective. And when we were in possession, Xhaka didn't have lots of options to pass into because literally we continued to play, a back five while we were in possession. I don't remember many of our players really having that urge, to come forward and be luxurious in possession. I think it was because we played after Tottenham and we were afraid that if we lost to Westham, then we would be behind Tottenham on points. But if we drew this game, we'd be on level points with Spurs. We would beat Leeds and wait for the result against for the result from Tottenham Liverpool, and then we would take the North London derby in our hands. But of course, yes, again, lads, the London derby is going to be beautiful. It's going to be magnificent. I'm telling you, it's going to be magnificent. It's one of those games that I'm waiting for desperately because I've seen how Antonio Conte has played in the last 3 games. Arsenal, and I've seen what Arsenal need to do. Right? If you want to beat Spurs, just a little bit. If you want to beat Spurs, there are 2 things you have to do. 1, stop Son, Ken, and Kulusevski. That is 1. But 2, you need to have a very solid structure. You need to be very alert. You need to be with 100% concentration. And those 2 blocks that, like you saw today, 5 with Holding, El Neni, Gabriel, Nuno, and Tomiyasu. And then the next one, consisting of 4 players, Xhaka, Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard, they need to stick throughout the 90 minutes. And if you do that, what literally that does, what that does, it pushes Spurs to commit numbers, right? And then you just need to have runners in behind. I think Arsenal do have that. You have that in Martinelli, you have that in Saka. So the Northern Derby is going to be vibey. It's going to be interesting. Nice talk. Thank you so much, Edward. I'm glad. Darwin Núñez is a Thierry Henry come 5 years. Joshua, should I do a video for you about whether Darwin Núñez is the next Thierry Henry? I'm going to do that video for you this week. Make sure you watch the channel. Kindly let us know. Sign him. All right. Cannot disagree. I like him. Big up, man. We are the Gunners forever. Bless the Arsenal family. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a very, very wonderful time speaking to you. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the huge Arsenal channel. And I promise we'll speak again. Player rating is coming on. And of course, we'll be speaking Mikel Arteta press conference as well. I want to catch up with the injury update of Ben White, Saka, and the other players. So I'll be catching you very, very soon. Good night.